everyone, and welcome to Anonymous Talks. Anonymous Talks is a platform where anyone can share their story anonymously for the purpose of helping others going through a similar experience. It is also a platform to have conversations and discussions to address topics, some of which are controversial. I'm your host, my name is Dana, and I'm also a life coach who loves helping people find the power within themselves. Today, we have a story of someone who is loving, who is intuitive, and a giver. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me, what would you name your story?
How it feels like losing a parent.
Okay, tell me about it.
When I was around 15 years old, I lost my mother. It was a very, very sudden loss. She was doing fine, she was healthy, but things happen. And because it was very sudden, when I got to know the news, I couldn't feel my feet. I just dropped to the ground. So it was very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, the thing is, she wasn't with me in the same country. She was with her family, so with her parents. And she was supposed to arrive here in a couple of days. So I couldn't believe that this happened, and I was still expecting her to come. And I waited until the day that her ticket, her airplane ticket, was supposed to arrive here. And I was like, okay, yeah, she's coming. But it started to hit me more and more.
After the date that she was supposed to arrive at?
Yes, it was like around 2 weeks after her passing.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, I had a very good support system.
Mm-hmm.
I had my friends around. I had my family around. And I didn't feel lonely. And I think this is the most important thing, is for the people that you love to surround you.
Mm-hmm.
They were giving me also my space to grieve, but at the same time not leaving me alone. And I think this is very important.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I had someone. I had people around me. I wasn't left alone. I had someone to share my pain with.
Yeah, you were able to share your feelings.
Yes.
And talk about it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just at first I didn't really believe that it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
It took me actually a couple of months to wire my brain around the fact that this is something that happened actually. Like, I have to wake up. It's like, wake up, like this is reality.
Mm-hmm. What happened then? What did you feel once you realized, okay?
I was actually shocked. Don't forget the fact that I was still very young. So my brain was confused.
Mm.
I didn't know what was happening, but I was just coping with what's around me. But the time that it actually hit me, it was very shocking. I felt disconnected from everyone. I felt like, the world is gonna end, and I cannot live without my mother, and that I just don't want anything to do with this world anymore. But again, I had my support system. They held me up on my feet, and that made me move on. It's not moving on, it's how to cope with it better and how to live with it.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you got to a point where you accepted?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How long did that take?
Oh, it took a long time. It took 2 years to accept. And actually, honestly, until this day, it still feels like it was just a dream or just a nightmare. I mean, like, it's
how
not
did
real.
How did your life change?
Oh, it changed a lot. Because like the mother is usually the one that cares, that takes care of everything in the house and takes care of the whole family.
Yeah.
So I felt sudden responsibility on me, a big responsibility that I had to face. And because I am actually a naturally born responsible person, so it wasn't that hard. It was just a little bit challenging. I had a lot of things to take care of, for example, the house, to cook, to clean. It was hard, and until this day it's a little bit hard, because like, you have other things in life. You have your studies, your work, your personal life.
How did it affect your personality, this sudden responsibility that you had to take over? How does it change you?
It made me smarter
Mm-hmm.
because I get to like think bigger, think ahead of me. It also just made me know how to multitask things in my mind, like how to. My mind usually used to be messy,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm able to organize my thoughts
Very nice.
and like order them, like from like the least important to the most important. And this helped me because when I was like responsible for the house and everything, I had multiple things to think about.
Yes.
And you know, at this point, your mind just gets everywhere.
Yes. Did you have like a strategy to deal with organization or like everything that's going on in your mind?
Yes. Yes.
What's that?
First of all, what made me organize my thoughts are, okay, if you'll have messy thoughts, how will you even know what to start with or what to do or what to think about? And that made me actually organize them.
Did you write it on paper? Did you, or was it just, you
Yes,
wrote?
at first, like as a start, I start everything on a paper. And I used to like check them or like underline them, which are the most important ones to like do first. And actually until this day, with my studies, with my work, I have to write things down because it makes me know what's going on. Because, you know, sometimes people can forget.
Yeah.
So everything's there on the paper. You will make sure that you cover everything that you wrote about.
Yes, yes. It helps me a lot as well. It makes you calmer. Once you write something down, it's like it's not running in your head so much anymore.
Yes.
You trust that it's there. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you know what? It's on the paper. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to sweat it out. I'm just going to have it.
I know I'm going to get to it, but I need to get to these first.
Yes, exactly.
And for me, I also number them. Like I would number things to prioritize and start one at a time. Okay. Your support system. So you still have your dad?
Yes.
And your friends?
Yes.
So they were there for you. Did you feel like, because you guys were very young, did you feel like anyone was able to understand you?
No.
No.
Of course, and in my family, my father, my parent, my other parent, of course he does understand us.
He's grieving.
My friends, they just understood that, okay, she needs us. We don't want to make her feel lonely. We're there for her. But I don't feel like they understood what's actually going on. And like this is normal. We were still kids. Me and my friends, we were still kids.
Of course, yeah.
But another support system that I had when the thing happened is I had everyone around me were my relatives, my cousins, my grandma. They clearly were understanding and they acknowledged the issue or
the pain.
The pain, yes. So they were able to help me go through it. And one strategy that I used to use, and it's a bad thing, I know that. I give myself in a day, because you cannot just obsessively think about it, because you cannot get to a point where you accept it. It's just you need to move on. Okay, such things you can't move on from, but you want to get to like the other day.
Live with them.
Yeah, live with just live with it. I used to give, for example, in a day like 30 minutes thinking about her, and then shut down.
Interesting.
Think about her a little bit, shut down. And I learned how to also shut down thoughts that I don't want to think about.
That's very nice.
And that really helped me cope, because you cannot just sit and think about it, because it's just not healthy. Definitely. You have to control your mind. Okay, yes, I'm going to think about her. Yes, I've lost someone and I'm going to pray for them. But if it takes up my whole day, then what life am I gonna have? How am I going to accept it and move on?
Exactly. And that's not what she would want for you.
Yes. She would want me to be happy, to be strong. She was a very, very strong woman. And she inspires me to be one too.
Amazing. And from what I see a strong woman as well.
Thank you.
Controlling your mind like that is important. It's not something easy, and it's not just for. It could be for such situations, like in your situation, it's a very difficult situation, and you had to do it for it. But even with people who did not suffer through such a loss, other thoughts can control their minds as well. Like they go into خلاص freezing, like you can't do anything because of the thoughts, and whatever thought that is, it needs to be dealt with, and this strategy is good.
This strategy, like the thing when my mother passed away, it happened 5 years ago. And what you were saying exactly was exactly what was happening to me. I couldn't control my thoughts. My thoughts used to control me. And I'm an overthinker. So it was horrible. It took me around 2 years to like figure it out by myself, that no, you have to control your feelings, your thoughts, and how to control them. It just naturally happened. I didn't even like put the effort into, like, my mind just automatically, like shift. And
this is
control.
The defense mechanism that your mind had to play in order for you to survive, in order for you to go on.
Yes, and it's actually also helping with other stuff in life. Life is hard. Life isn't easy. You face lots of things. So this strategy really does help me. So I'm grateful for this type of defense mechanism from myself.
Amazing. I love that. Moving towards acceptance. Were there any steps? Did you feel the difference? Like, did you feel like things have been changing in a certain way? Did you feel a shift at certain points that made you move towards acceptance?
I won't call it a shift. I would call it coping. Coping and just figuring out how will your life be after this incident. How will you move on? Because it was a sudden change, and you have to just adjust and adapt to this change. And then everything falls back to place. And I would give an advice for everyone who is going through this, and I hope that I really hope everyone doesn't go through it. It is hard, yes, very hard. It's the hardest thing, but it made me the most powerful person I can see myself.
Oh.
And it's a thing like nothing will break you. You went through this, nothing will break you. Unless you are immune, you are strong enough to go through anything.
Amazing.
And an advice I would give for everyone is that do not ever think that life is over. I know loss of a loved one is very, very hard, and you think that the world is collapsing, it's the end of the world, but it's not. It's just your thoughts, it's just your sadness, your grief talking to you. But when you wake up and get out of this stage, you'll feel like you have another life. Yeah, like you have another chance. So live it for yourself and for the person that you lost.
Amazing.
I would like to add one more thing.
Tell me.
One thing that also helped me is I used to always distract myself. When I'm distracted, when my focus is in a totally different place, it also helps me cope. Like, yes, I'm not ignoring the problem, but I'm calming myself and my thoughts, because my thoughts are like running around, they're crazy.
Yeah.
So I distract myself. I do something at the house. I go sit with my friends. I study. I just do literally anything to shift my focus, to trick my mind. It's just, how do you know? Like, you have to know your mind very well so you can play tricks on it.
Yes.
And I use it until this day. It always makes you calmer and calms your thoughts. So when you sit with yourself to grieve, you have calmer thoughts. You're so much calmer. It's just a good method to use.
I love that. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I love it. I love how you persevered through it, and this will enlighten for whoever is going through a similar thing. You've been through it in a very young age. Unfortunately, all of us will go through it. Losing a parent is inevitable, but at a young age, it's tough.
Yes, it is.
But I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
For who you are and what you've become. Bravo, and thank you for being my guest. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for helping others who are maybe going through a similar experience.
Thank you for having me, and I wish for the people who listen to this to eventually, as you said, we're gonna all go through this, and I hope it's just a little bit easier for them after listening to this, because listening to others' experiences removes the weight from your shoulders a little bit.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
Yes, exactly.
And if you need support, just ask.
Yes.
You can ask for help. You can ask for friends' support, for family, for someone going through it. There are support groups.
Yes,
There are so many things that can help, only if you want it and you ask for it.
Just one thing, just do not be alone. It's just going to make everything worse. Yes. So thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
And I hope I can help out as much people as I can.
Thank you. Thank you.